name is Laura Robles, and I'm the Cultural Arts and Incubator Coordinator for the McAllen Chamber of Commerce. The Incubator is a facility that offers low-cost studio spaces to startup artists. Our artists, in turn, offer gallery exhibitions and creative and enrichment classes at an affordable price to the community. Some of our tenants are painters, sculptors, a variety of musicians, and we even have an Irish folk dancer. The Incubator also houses Tech Place. Tech Place, located on the third floor, is a collaborative space for tech startups, programmers, coders, college students, and small tech businesses. Lastly, I'd like to invite you to our virtual art walk held every first Friday of the month from September to May, sponsored by the City of McAllen, supported by the McAllen Chamber of Commerce, and hosted by McAllen Creative Incubator tenants Angelika Eleni and Victoria Lopez. Don't forget, first Friday of every month. See you there.
Here is the perfect chicken finger. 4 of them, actually. They're hand battered. They're cooked to order. And made with love. Raising Cane's chicken fingers will make you say, "Oh yeah." Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love.
It is a Friday night, and we are here at the McAllen Creative Incubator, and you may see a little bit of a fun set, a new face. But don't worry, we have some friends back over here, and we are so excited to have you guys here. Pedro, how are you?
I'm doing good. I'm pretty excited, and I'm kind of mesmerized by all the motifs and all these tapestries that are up right now.
We would like to thank the Dance Center of Edinburgh. Thank you for lending us a beautiful part of your local history. And Pedro, you're from Tropicasa, so we're like family now.
Right across the street.
It's been such a fun ride, guys. We've been learning, we've been expanding, and honestly, we have a very fun little surprise for you. So, Friday Night Watchers, share this link, comment, say hello, because right now, we're going to pan over and you're going to meet our house band.
Hello, McAllen Art Walk. Yes, you're not rid of me yet. I know. Y'all were looking at Victoria and Pedro. They are a much more attractive host couple. I will give them that. So what you just saw today was a bit of Irish music and dance, because yes, I actually do something around here, or so I like to think, right? So that's my brother, by the way. That's why he's giving me the stink eye here. So everyone, ladies and gents, Antonio Santiago on banjo. Woo! And we have Miguel on baron over here. Miguel's a new tenant to us. He's come, oh, excuse me, I'm so excited I can't even get all the words out. Miguel is from New York City, and he has come here to grace our our presence with a bit of drum skills. And then we have Bree over here. Y'all may recognize Bree. She is becoming a fixture of our art walk. She is also a new tenant because Victoria, we didn't let her go.
We didn't. Once we get you, we keep you.
Yes, and so we will be delving a little more into our new tenants' lives, and I'd like to say we also have new tech and crew from Indigo Sound Company. Yay! So how about we take a moment and I guess introduce everybody? How do you feel about that, Victoria? You're so far. You're so far.
Camera, you can pan if you want to, so everyone can admire our. You could look at us too. You know, it's just been such a fun thing to be able to throw everyone together. This is just a last-minute band, right?
We're super cool now. We're official. Sound Company, we're their new sign-on. No, just kidding.
They are now picking up and covering artists. Is that it?
Yeah. That's what's happening. That's what's happening.
Oh my goodness. You know, this is your first time on set. This is your first time seeing what's going on. Like, tell the audience the madness that is happening.
There's a lot of madness happening in the most positive ways, of course. I'm very fascinated by all the instruments here, and like, of course, I got a little preview of Victoria tap dancing earlier, which was really cool.
Oh.
Angelica.
Yeah,
no.
Angelica,
Angelica,
Victoria's
my bad.
beside you. He's
my
like, it was
bad.
too much,
Yeah.
it was too much, I can't.
They're almost like twins. I get them both confused. But yeah, I see a lot of like similarities because of course we grew up in a Mexican culture, so there's like there's a Mexican tap dancing too, which is called zapateado from son jarocho. So I'm seeing a lot of music similarities, and I'm just I'm enjoying the sound. This is kind of me being taken out of my comfort zone and like experiencing a whole different like genre of music from a different culture. So it feels good to be here.
That's beautiful, Pedro. That's actually beautiful.
I love it. And Pedro's like, I don't know what I'm gonna say. I'm
Yeah.
like,
I'm
the
kind of
words
just
shall come.
yeah. I'm kind of just soaking it all up because y'all just hit me up a couple days ago to come jump on this. So it's like, I love when things are very spontaneous like that because like it gives me no room to really like do any research or like really figure out what's going on behind the scenes. So I love kind of just being thrown in things and being immersing myself in different cultures and stuff. So this is very beautiful. So thank y'all for inviting me.
Yes.
Thank you.
Something that'd be nice too. Why don't we get like an introduction of some of these instruments?
Yeah,
I know we know violin, but like we want to hear it from your culture type of Irish theme.
You ready, Antonio? You ready for this? He's like, no, I didn't sign up for this. I'm just related to you. All right, Antonio, tell us about the banjo, this banjo particularly.
So this is an Irish tenor banjo. A lot of people are more common with the 5-string banjo, which is more common in more bluegrass and country, but this is the tenor banjo. It's actually tuned like a fiddle or violin or mandolin or even tenor guitar. So it's tuned G, D, A, E, and it was actually used in jazz music as well as Irish music. So yeah.
I'm gonna put you on the spot. Funk the Cajun blues. Give us just a once through. He's like, no. sounds. I find tenor banjo to be more driving. It's more melody leading as opposed to filling in the background with accompaniment. So I love listening to banjo. And Miguel, give us the history. Let us know about your drum over here, the particular nature of it.
Sure, this is called the boron. I used to call it the bodran, and that's not how you say it. It's pronounced boron. The skin is goat skin, and most of the drums that I have had are sealed with like electronic tape. That's what this is. And this is like a 16-inch deep performance boron, so it has a very bassy sound. And the newer borons actually are tunable, so the skin is actually very sensitive to the weather. So when we were practicing, like,
You can tell the story.
my skin was telling me it's very damp and it was loose, and anyways, this is where you tune the boron to give it that really bassy sound. And I have no idea why they still make the borons with the crossbar, because that gets in the way for me. So, but I make it work. This is the boron.
Can you show us like what your hand looks like? Because I think you're cheated in this way. Can you give us a preview of the wrist movement?
The hands. This is like your tipper hand, if you're right hand, and then your left hand is the tonal hand. So all of the sounds that the boron makes is conducted by the tonal hand, while the tipper hand
Beautiful.
so
That was nice. I like that.
Before I go on to Bree, I forgot I do have an instrument that nobody knows about, and guess what that is? My shoes.
Yeah.
I forgot. I was like, oh yeah, everyone knows the violin, but so my shoes. Obviously, as Pedro was saying, there's similarities between Mexican folk dance as well as tap, as well as flamenco. There's a variety of different cultures that like to stamp their feet on the ground to make music, and what makes the Irish hard shoe a little different is rather than having metal plates on the bottom and being flat-footed, it actually has a hard leather sole that allows me to break it in and point, so I can go on point, and I have a lot of flexibility with it. The tips are actually made of fiberglass. They are made of fiberglass, and they're very well made. They hurt loads when you're breaking them in, but once they break in, they're practically tennis shoes for you. So the difference between Irish dance and, I suppose, or Irish dance the way you see it in river dance or the dance competitions, what makes it different from tap dance and other folk dances, it uses classical techniques in the sense that your feet are turned out and you're crossed and you're on your toes and releve. So that's what allows for very rapid movement. And yes, this is just a violin, and if anyone wants to know, because it's a common question, there is no difference between a fiddle and a violin. That more indicates the type of music you're playing. Now you can soup up your violin, Victoria. You're too far from me, Victoria. I know, I can't deal with this. I'm way too attached. You can soup up your violin to give it a bit better action to suit fiddle playing. So, on to Bree. Woo!
Well, this is a digital keyboard, a 20th century commodity here. But, well, you will notice I am not using the standard piano sounds. I actually transformed it to a harp and just functioning as a bass. And this is completely new to me. I am primarily just playing based on what I hear them do. So I'm just listening for their changes. I'm staying aware, especially what Michael is doing, and just following this. And I'm also playing in a very unorthodox way as well, just by what has come naturally to me. But if you see harp players, they do a motion to let the harp sing. They kind of plug the string and then release their hand, almost as an extension of the sound. So I'm kind of doing a similar, letting it sing. So that is all I got.
That's beautiful. And Pedro, where's your instrument? Huh?
It's right here.
Hey, my heart. So we have a couple of submissions.
We do. I was actually checking my phone so we can make sure we're in
On time, on time, on time.
Hello.
Yes.
You know, we had a lot of fun this time around. Angelika was able to shout out to pay homage to some of her friends, bring them in, and we actually had some of her students here, cross the board, cross the ocean, cross the everything. And you know, we have a fun announcement to make, but we'll save it to the end until we really have your heart singing Irish tunes, right? We're gonna wait until it's no fiddling to fiddle along. Yeah, you know, and it's just so fun because I think everyone is a musician in their own right.
Yeah, so I'm a DJ, so I guess if y'all consider that a musician.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know.
I was laughing because the other day I was holding Angelika's violin and she plays without a chin rest and a shoulder rest. I call it chin rest.
I need the chin rest.
Sorry,
I'm not that
rest.
brutal.
The shoulder rest, and she's like, "You can play with it, Victoria." And I'm like, "I'm sorry, I have a sensitive shoulder. I need the shoulder rest." You know, and it's just interesting because you adapt. Like, Antonio, how many hours do you practice to be able to transition styles like that?
He's like, oh, what?
Not enough.
He's like, my mom's watching. Don't bring this up. Victoria's a pro at that.
Oh, I'm phenomenal
As
at
your
bringing
front
up.
yard.
Oh my goodness. You know, so we have Zach behind the camera. Zach is one of our tenants. Mike, we miss you. You are out of town, but shout out. You know, and Zach's doing a great job. He's gonna stay behind the camera, but we're just letting everyone know he's a tenant. He's giving me signals, I don't understand them. Either way, everyone, we're gonna jump onto our next segment, so we'll see you on the other side. Little surprises.
Latina Hope es un programa gratuito para las mujeres emprendedoras que desean desarrollar su producto a un punto más válido para la venta. Les apoyamos con información financiera, material para manualidades y orientación para hacer crecer su negocio. Este está patrocinado por la Cámara de Comercio de McAllen, United Way of South Texas y Calvary Baptist Church. Las mujeres que participen en varias sesiones tendrán la oportunidad de presentar su plan de negocios a un panel de jueces para ganar una beca en material hasta $250. Llama al 682-2871 y regístrate. Te esperamos.
Wednesday here at the IMAS. I'm Selena, and today we're making a DIY mobile. So we have the 18-gauge wire, we have fishing wire, we have various papers, also a paper clip, and this is just an optional item, but definitely wire cutters and any type of nose pliers that you can find. This is where I'm going to start for my mobile. I'm going to start from the bottom area. And I'm going to use my wire cutters to clip that. I would recommend, as we grow our mobile and we go up from the bottom, you might want to get a bit longer each time just so they're not crashing into each other. Bend it at about a 45-degree angle like that. And same thing to the other side. And I'm gonna take two pieces and I'm going to take my paper clip and I'm gonna use this to punch two holes, and we are going to slide it from the back side. So you can see the front side, I can see the back side, and I'm going to take this piece and slide it through the top hole. And I'm going to next take this part and place it through that second hole as best I can. So we have the base, and the next thing we're gonna do is find the balance point, kind of like a kinetic sculpture, which is a moving sculpture. And this is something that you may have heard of from an artist called Alexander Calder. And he would make these really huge kinetic sculptures, and they would just move in these amazing ways to give a great visual. So once you found your balance point, this is where I'm gonna go ahead and take those flat nose pliers. So step one, we're now going to take one of those ends and we're gonna bend it almost like a bird angle. And we're gonna bend until we pass. We're gonna keep going until we pass that. Switch it to the top part. So that way when I continue to bend it back to its original position, we now have a pretty clean loop right there in our wire. And so we'll do this step over and over again. I'm gonna make a couple of these jump rings. And again, this is gonna allow my mobile to move even more. And I'm gonna make some loops around this nose right here. So I hope you can see that well. I have my coil. So I'm going to continue adding arms. I'm going to show you how to add an arm. And after that, you're just going to keep adding arms until you make it as large as you like. This time, I'm going to create a loop with the round nose pliers. Balance with this piece on and see what happens. There we go. So as we continue, let's go ahead and balance with the pieces that are attached. Now, all we have to do is continue adding arms. Workshop Wednesday, and we made DIY mobiles. Come back next month. Stay tuned on our social media pages, on the IMAS Facebook page or Instagram to find out what we're doing next month. And be sure to register for your kit in advance. And we'll see you next time.
actually dance and play the fiddle. Because so often she and I are just in our own element that we never really kind of revel in one another's artistry. Isn't that nice to see? Like, have you seen Angelika do this before?
I've never seen her do it before.
Pedro, did you know she could do that?
I mean, she had talked to me about what she could do, but I hadn't seen it in person, so it's like, whoa.
It's beautiful. And then you grew up with it, right?
Yes.
I would like to say right now we are live on 97.7 The City. So if you guys want to tune in, if you're not able to be live on YouTube, you are driving, turn the dial, okay? And the volume up. Except when you're hearing tippity taps, lower it, because hearing is very important. So we got to see some Latina hope, hear from Laura and the women who are putting together their crafts and their arts. And you mean, have you been introduced to Latino Home yet?
I have not.
Okay.
I'm very new to McAllen.
I keep asking these questions because it's like these are the gaps we need to fill in education.
Yes,
You know, a lot of people here are still at the incubator, you know. People are still learning what the McAllen Creative Incubator is. So often we hear, oh, you mean at the old library. So we're just part of that community trying to transition this old McAllen Public Library into the Creative Incubator. So we got to see Imus too. Have you been?
Yeah, I've been there.
Beautiful, beautiful. And Selena always does a great job, and Anastasia, they're just such nice people to work with. And who else did we get to see? The children, we did get to see some of Angelika's children.
My children?
The
oh,
children.
Thank goodness. I only keep them for a partial point of the day, so.
We had to give Angelika some time to catch her breath. So, Zach the cameraman, if you want to pan back and forth, you have permission to do so.
Hello, hello. You see this sheen? It's natural. It's natural. This is what makes Miguel's Baron a bit humidified when we're in my studio. But my dancers that you saw there, they were dancing something in a nod to the traditional Irish brush dance, and that's just something that would happen in sessions at home and out in the community. And obviously, it's a much more deconstructed style of Irish dance, and that's because it's more formal. It's for the family community. What you saw me do there is a different level, it's a different type. It's a show type of Irish dance, and it's much more theatrical and much more technically developed. And if you go down the YouTube rabbit hole of current competitions, like even myself, I've been retired for a few years, and when I went back to competition, I was like, oh my, this is gymnastic. But my students are from Dance Center of Edinburgh, who also lent us this amazing set. So we are so thankful for that. And we're probably gonna reuse it. And I'll make that announcement in a moment. We also saw Christy Bentley with her woven wall art. She also created the soundtrack in the back of her video, and it was incredible. I mean, I've been following her work for a while now, but when I saw that she actually created the music in the background, I was like, I want you for this episode. So Victoria.
Yes.
We were gonna put off our South Texas Irish Festival for one more year. However, the people, they just wanted it. The people rose up and they said, we demand our South Texas Irish Festival. And so that is what we are doing. March 20th, Saturday, Main Street is gonna be hopping because there's a lot of markets going on. And here at the Incubator, we're gonna have our own St. Patrick's Market. And it'll be a little prelude of our South Texas Irish Festival next year. We'll be able to bring in our spotlight artists and stuff. But we're very lucky because now we have a house band and you'll be able to see us and be entertained by us. Just like, no. Like, never mind, I changed my mind. I don't wanna go now. So we'll be pushing that a few more times, and you can follow the Incubator, myself, or Victoria, posting about South Texas Irish Festival. But let's flip it back over here and talk a bit more to our entertainers on this side.
We do. You know, I want to, pay a little attention to the word that Angelika used, and she said sessions. And to her, that means something. Can you tell us what a session is, Antonio?
Yeah, so sessions mainly a group of musicians of all levels just meeting up at a pub, mainly a pub. Sometimes someone's house, but of course everyone wants to go to the pub. And they just go around a table and play some music. They can trade off tunes, they can learn from one another, or they can just have fun and mess around. So yeah.
And
should I add on to it? He's like, yeah, that's it. So what I love about sessions, for instance, Antonio has won a few awards at the FLA, which that is the instrument competition in Irish traditional music. And what's lovely about that, the Worlds is in Ireland, and basically whatever town they've occupied just explodes with all age levels, but especially the youth. So this is not a dying tradition by any means. It's a lot of people think that about all traditional and folk art forms, but this has a very young population that are making their own mark on the music. And it's so great because you walk into a session and like, little Antonio, when he'd visit me in Dublin, he was only like 11 or 12, and he'd be sitting next to, 60-year-olds and learning tunes from them and playing in a circle. And I love seeing posts from the FLA where it's just a bunch of youths playing all of their folk instruments, and they just jam together, and it's a beautiful continuation of a cultural art. And speaking of cultural arts, Michael, our new tenant from New York, let us know what you're here for.
Well, I wanted to add to the sessions.
Yes, I wanted
because
to ask about it.
I learned the boron in New York City, sitting in at Irish sessions, and the session players are very competitive, on top of being very respectful of the Irish tradition. And I learned that because I'm a singer first, I learned that whenever I sang in front of a band, the drummer held down the rhythm. And when I started playing sessions, I learned quickly that the boron is not the main instrument. The boron is the accompanying instrument. And the fiddle player or the main musician is. And they're very like, oh no, And every time I would call to say, hey, do you have an Irish session? I'm a boron player. Boron players have a bad rap.
Yeah, they'd be like, we already have one for the session, you can stay home.
and I learned, I was like, why do the boron players have such a bad rap? And it turns out a lot of them they claim to be very good rhythmically. And I used to be a tap dancer, so I think rhythmically I already had it in me. So that's how I picked this up. But to answer your question, why I'm here, the pandemic pushed me here.
It's going to push you right back out, I think.
So I lost my housing twice in the New York City area, and I'm being completely honest about it.
Yeah.
And my best friend Juan and his partner Jonathan live here in McAllen, and what they said before was like, come and visit. And then the pandemic pushed its hand, and they said, come live with us.
That's
and I'm
amazing.
like, I'm super grateful to have that happen. And I found the incubator by a Google search.
Beautiful.
Because I was like, and I was asking Jonathan and Juan, I'm like, what's the art scene here like? And they were like, we don't know.
We are the art scene. No, all the artists are gonna rail against you. They're like canceled. Angelika's canceled. No, it's actually very vibrant here. And as an outsider myself, still Texan, but coming here, I was really thrilled. I mean, just the fact that we can even be sitting in here and being able to call Pedro in last minute, and even yourself and Bree, it's really inspiring because look at this. This is just our own little brick box here, and we make with it what we will. And we're all just like, I think this, I think that, I think that. And then somehow we just create an amalgamation of all of our minds that you see as the final product, and it's beautiful.
It's gorgeous. I feel very welcome here. That's one thing I really want to say, which is refreshing.
Yeah.
And I feel like McAllen, just being new to the arts community here, I have a lot to give and contribute to it. And I've met you now, and I met you now, and I met you now, and you now, and you guys, and
That's wonderful. Victoria, would you like to lead us into our next segment?
We can. I just wanted to ask one more general question about a session. So let's say at this South Texas Prelude Irish Festival, the St. Patrick's Day Market, what if we wanted to have a session there? And what if somebody never played Irish music, but they definitely play violin, or they DJ, or they sing? how does it work? Like if they just want to get together and have a fun session here.
So I am very happy you asked that, Victoria. Cue scene. So when I first moved into the incubator, right before quarantine started, my plan was to hold an open community session, welcome to all levels, and it would be here in our art gallery. And as you've heard, it's a community gathering, it's a social event, and we're very friendly towards beginners. I have extra music stands, as well as traditional music, especially Irish traditional music, is completely free. It's out there on the interwebs. So all I would be doing when you came in, as well as if you ever ran into when Antonio was here, and Miguel will definitely be here, I will make him, I'll say, Miguel, you're coming to this session, is that what we're doing is more guiding where you can find these, and once you get used to it, it'll be very easy to gather these resources on your own. And in a session, you're not supposed to know every tune. Nobody expects that. Actually, you play the tunes you know. Sometimes you join into others. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes you start. When you don't know a tune or when you just don't feel like playing, you what? Have a drink. No, it's okay. You don't have to drink. I'm not pushing the drink on you. But we'll have tea, coffee, food. So as well as keeping up with our social media, now that restrictions are lifting a bit with reason, health and safety wise, this is a great place for social distancing, not just in the gallery, but in the incubator itself. And we would love to have you. No matter stone cold beginner or not, it's very doable.
Yes. So, friends, anything else you want to add? Pedro, what have you learned today?
I mean, I learned about this beautiful drum over here. It's called a boron, you say?
Yep.
Yeah, it's really fascinating. And then the banjo tenor. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I would have never have known what these specific instruments were called. And I feel like a student today because I'm like learning about all these new instruments and new genre that I never would have tapped in unless I was here. So once again, thank you for inviting me to be a part of this.
We love having you. We're so happy to have Tropicasa in our
Tell
hood.
me the square root of 50.
We made the joke earlier. Ask me any questions, but
math.
Nothing about math. So earlier I was at Tropicasa getting our coffee fix because it's always necessary. And you and I were having the conversation about how sometimes we have all of this knowledge and this know-how, but sometimes it's either some sort of social cue or just our own productivity or us kind of just being lazy, keeping us from doing these things. And I just like to say, like, half the time we're putting these things together, we're exhausted. So we really need to find the time to really invest in our practicing and realizing, like, I learned this instrument because I had a passion for it. So don't forget those passions. That's what we're reminding you of. And I think that's why I brought up sessions is I could play the violin. I have not pulled it out for a while. I remember how to tune. I don't know how to play these tunes, but I know enough to be able to join in. It's just getting rid of the inhibitions, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I wanted to point that out because I think it'd be really fun to have a socially distanced. We have so much talent. I mean, I wish Bree was back here, but she got pulled that way because of the beautiful piano piece. But this is just how it's all coming together, is all of us have this organic and natural talent and, like, inclination towards music and arts. So I really think it's beautiful that we can start celebrating it together, and we hope that even though you're on the other side of the camera right now, that one day you find your way here, and hopefully that's on March 20th. So we're gonna go ahead and meet some of our next folks. So you got it over there, mister? We're good to go. Bye.
Hi, all right, my lovely students here. So we have you here tonight on this special night of a special month of St. Patrick's Day. Woo!
I'm Isabella. I'm more like contemporary modern dance because I feel like I can let myself just flow with the music, and it's not as structured as more formal ballet or formal dances in general. And I just feel like it's a lot easier to work with, it's a lot easier to choreograph and to put together.
Wonderful.
Well, I do enjoy dancing folklorico. It's probably my favorite genre of dance. I feel like it's roots, right? We get to dig back to the days where, I mean, obviously we weren't around, and see how they used to celebrate parties and how different it was compared to today. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, awesome.
Like,
Yeah.
it's like
kind of like, you know, people say like dance isn't a sport, but it is.
It is.
It's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It's a sport, but it's also like you have to add like the art to it. It's also very like beautiful. Not like and other sports have like, you know, different things, but dance is like you have to look beautiful but make it look easy when it's not. So I think
it's a lot of technique under
hours of dedication.
Yeah.
Literally blood, sweat, and tears.
It also helps you with manners. Like it helps you.
Oh yeah, I once got complimented on how I passed the pen to somebody. They're like, that's the most elegant way somebody has
I
passed
think
me
it
a
also
pen.
helps like your looks, like you have like
Yeah,
posture.
the posture.
Yeah.
All of
Makes
us
you
just shrink.
Irish. I mean, just in general, like I just didn't. This is my first time doing that. Like literally, my first time doing that.
And he's amazing.
No.
I know.
And I mean, it was a challenge for me. I mean, I guess I've done footwork before, but I mean, still, Irish is still different from flamenco and folklorico. Folklorico is up here, flamenco is really grounded, and then Irish, it's crazy. But it's really cool. Just go for it. I mean, it's always good trying new things, especially in the dance industry, like in the dance world.
The shoes are different too. You'd think they'd be more like tap shoes, but they have like a lift under the toe, and it's hard to get used to it.
And it hurts.
And
It hurts to get used to
It hurts when you don't break them in, y'all. I keep trying to tell you.
I feel like it's a lot of different dances like combined. You have some steps from ballet, you have some tap steps.
Keep going, just keep going.
And you have to like separate them. You have to know like which one is which, and you have to make it a different style because it's not exactly like tap. It's like, you know, Irish, but you know what you're doing, but at the same time it's like you don't know what you're doing at all.
Or the floor is slippery, or the shoes are new.
And you fall and your partner falls with you.
Yeah.
Say, being a guy, right, especially here in the Rio Grande Valley, we have a lot of parents, fathers, who are very masculine. I actually went through this in 7th grade. I asked my father to put me in dance center, and he said no, because it's ballet and that's girly. He said a much, more offensive term, but, right? And now he goes to see my shows, and he's cried at my shows because of how like emotional he gets. So
Powerful.
Even if you're a guy, especially if you're a guy, we need y'all in dance. Like there's always boys missing, and we're lacking man, which is fine, but it would be pretty cool to see like in the future like an equal amount of girls ratio to guys. Like that'd be pretty cool.
Yes. Thank you for sharing with us. And how about we end the night, a very long, arduous night, with our best gritos.
I have been here 6 years.
Yes. And what is it like seeing you see most here from our community, from like the whole engagement and being part of Main Street?
Well, I mean, Main Street, it's grown. We have so many restaurants opening up even this year. But we've been here 12 years, and just providing the community with some great food, and we have craft beer and local breweries we support.
That's something I really like. My first time in Roosevelt, I'd always be passing by it on the way to the incubator, and I was like, oh, I guess I'll try it. But from the outside, it looks small, inconspicuous, and then I walked in, I was like, oh, my heart, it feels like a real pub, and like I was just in one of those little food stands, and it's just, but it's not all just about vibes. It's like actually, can you deliver on those vibes with food and stuff? And I can say 100% yes. Yesterday, what was the burger we had?
The Vanderbilt.
Vanderbilt?
Holy moly, the Vanderbilt.
It was so good.
I would slay for the Vanderbilt. And then I always head towards the stout.
Of course.
Do you have any local brewery that do stout?
Yes, well, 5x5, for example, they do a great coffee stout called probably, one of the best.
I might try that one too.
Yeah, in the area, it's definitely good.
I might try that one. And you actually pointed at 5x5. Can you let us know? These these are new.
Sure,
These are
yeah.
recent.
Well, I mean, they've actually been up for about a year, but we had them carved. Pre-COVID, we got with 4 local artists to paint murals in different breweries. A product that we pretty much offered here at Roseville at 7. And we were gonna throw a nice big party, but you know, things happen. And but so this month we let it all out. We took the tarps off, let everybody enjoy it. Each artist pretty much there's stake involved. We got cash prizes for all 4 artists. People come by all month and vote, and for their favorite artists. And
so is that still going on, or
yeah? Well, it's pretty much February, so we're pretty much at the tail end of it now.
Right.
But we people know, and they've been voting, and the artists have been trying to get people to vote. Everyone will win something.
Yeah.
You know, it just depends on who gets the most votes. But we got a lot of Hector over here. The Sunstar, Hector here, great artist. And I love the 5x5.
I know.
I'm a big 5x5.
I'm a 5x5 fan as well. I actually have one of their stickers on my fiddle case.
Cool.
We got it when we did the first virtual museum.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, how everything.
Yeah. Well, the first virtual, we actually had a showing.
Oh, cool. Yeah, and museums coming up. A lot of things are starting to come up. It's crazy because we're nearing up on a year here. What I can say is we'll show the audience. It's a great patio, great beer garden here. So one of the perfect places to come out with friends, and you know you're going to be out in the plein air, be able to enjoy the local breweries. Something I do want to ask though, because I'm kind of newish to the area. I won't be able to stay that for very long, much longer here. I've been here in like 2 years, being in McAllen. But I was really thrilled to see there's actually a fair amount of local brewers.
The past maybe 4 years, coming up. It's about time we catch up with the rest of the state, of course the rest of the state. But we have 5x5, very cool. I mean, there's more coming as well. Those are, the 2 big ones. We have Rusin right down the road, which, they don't distribute, we don't carry the product, they have their own stuff in there.
I've actually managed to walk around back there. It's really cool, and I revel in that. The first time I had a friend visit, she was actually with me the first time I visited Roosevelt, and I think it's something we can show off. Yeah, it's something niche and different.
I did my first poetry on demand event here at Jason River.
Okay.
And Jason, he's been part of our virtual art walk, and I know he's the one who's like, Victoria, if you're going to be in the art scene, you have to come to Roosevelt. Every Monday, you guys rotate artists, so that's just so cool because there's not that many places that have the opportunity to house original and local work and give that opportunity. I think you guys are a real trendsetter when it comes to what you do.
We're all for that. I work very close with Jason for years, and every first Friday when we used to have the art walk on the street, back in the good old days, I like to call it, we would focus on artists here every month, and we still did, even though they moved it to the park. We still did that like first Friday. That's one of our kind of our big events that we want. We're gonna work on bringing that back.
And we will be there.
That's
we'll be there looking for it.
Our goal is to fill up Main Street.
I'd love to. That'd be great.
It'd be awesome. And then one day let's get a whole squad going on where we hit up every restaurant featuring a different beer, a different artist, a different musician.
We're almost a year here of building up like that. Like, yes, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it.
Y'all got great ideas. Maybe McAllen will do this. Hey.
Roosevelt's is just like a classic. like, if you live maybe in Granby Valley, you should have visited Roosevelt like at least once. It's just like an historic type of place, and honestly, it's a great time to get together, whether you're dressing up, whether you're casual, for lunch, afterwards. Like, just Roosevelt is the place, is the bomb, and they're so supportive of local businesses and local artists and local events. So I mean, come throw some cash at these people, because they throw cash at you.
And the good stuff.
The good stuff
and
too.
the good stuff.
You know, let's give this a cheers.
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 Come on.
There we go.
Ah, cilantro.
Woo.
Yeah.
Family friendly. Thanks, Roosevelt. Good bomb.
My pleasure.
What do I got here?
You have a concept of you have Foo Bar 5
Okay.
Foo Bar's classic, right?
Correct.
Awesome.
Classic.
Well,
That's soon to be.
if anybody wants to follow you or know what's going on.
Yeah, Roosevelt at 7 on Instagram and Facebook. We post events, specials, weekly specials, whatever we got going on, and that's where you'll find me. A lot about us. And stop by. Patio is great. Plenty of space. Love to see you guys.
And cheers. Give us an air cheers.
Yeah.
Social distance cheers.
Oh.
2, 3, 4. Some last, I guess, notes for you to take. Cough, cough, South Texas Irish Festival. Wait, don't. Ooh, I shouldn't have coughed on you. Well, he's my brother. We share the same germs. So, what we have tonight, what did we watch, Victoria? Show off scene. Come on in.
Okay, here we are, live in person, all together.
Hi, Pedro.
Hi.
Hello. So, who did we see there? We saw some reflections from my students at Dance Center of Edinburgh. I keep saying Dance Center, so I want to make a point. Out in Edinburgh on Headfelt Road off of McCall.
Mm-hmm.
So you saw a bit of their reflections and why being involved in the arts is so important growing up and as a student. Because even if you don't become an artiste or that's not your day job, it's sort of like, what do we have day jobs for? What do we thrive for? We thrive for this, for the poetry, for the arts, for the inspiration. We need something to live for, and that's what I loved. They were very eloquent and to the point, and I think they probably said it better than I could have.
you know, it's really good to give children an opportunity to give voice to their feelings. Sometimes they just get so caught up with the art and the competitions and the newest dress that you need to wear for the show that they lose sense as to why they began and why it's a very healthy outlet for them. So it was really nice to meet them. You know, and it's just, you keep saying children, but we grow up and we become the adults, and they're our burgeoning funnel for the future. So we do want to do another shout out. 97.7, this is going live right now, and again, the quality, the musicianship, the sound, the crispness.
That's for you, Mike. Crispy.
Crispy.
This is all. Oh, Raising Cane's crispy. Thank you to our sponsor, Raising Cane's. Crispy. Yes. We did not forget about you, Raising Cane's.
Never.
You save us.
But to the crispness, Indigo Sound Company out of Edinburgh, Texas. So if you need film scoring, rentals, production, if you'd like for them to set up and help you do what we're doing, you could email them at info@indigosound.co.
Yeah.
Want to make sure to, if not, you know, is it presumptuous to say this, but if you'd like an artist or someone who can do your wedding or your event or your musicianship, you could actually DM us, and we're lucky enough to have a pool of friends who are artists.
Especially after this year of virtual art walk, we've been very blessed to have made contact with all of these artists that we wouldn't otherwise have had need to have met, if that makes sense, and we created that need, and now because of that we have this amazing community of supporting friends and artists, and like I'm just very happy that Victoria's close to me again. She's like, don't touch me. No, I'm just like, yes, thank you.
It's been a lot of fun, and you know, Bree, I want to turn. What does Bree have to say? I want to, only because, you know, the camera's been all over the place, and we want to make sure you are heard as well. You are not the silent operatic beauty.
Well, she is very mysterious.
Yes, she is.
I guess, well, this is very new for me, the session, and, you know, a musician can function in all sorts of ways, so it's very exciting when you find a new outlet of musicianship, because I literally was just having fun and bouncing off of what I'm hearing with you guys, and that's real. That's the core of musicianship, you know. That's making music. So that's what I gotta say.
And we can't forget our spotlight was Roosevelt's at 7. Woo! They're going to be the official session after party place of the South Texas Irish Festival.
Beautiful.
And the reason why we were there this time, you could see in that spot that they just unveiled their wall murals celebrating local breweries, as well as obviously exhibiting local artistry. And then we didn't get to show it in there, but we had a good old friend peek out, Jason Perez.
Oh, yes.
One of his pieces was inside Roosevelt's that we exhibited in August. So
yes.
I highly suggest you take a peek at August, because he was up here, and then go into Roosevelt's, have a pint, and you'll be able to see that piece in there as well.
You know, we have a lot of events coming up, so I think we're going to be posting about them through our personal social medias, through the incubator, but you know, it's not just about highlighting the incubator, it's about highlighting everyone in our surrounding areas. You know, we have events coming up on the 19th with Tropicasa. We just want to make sure that whatever you do, you get exposed to it here in the Valley. That way, we can't say, well, what is the scene? You become part of the scene, and you become someone who appreciates it. So guys, thank you for this Friday. We're going to go ahead and send you out with a, what do? You call it a hoot, a hurrah?
Well, we were calling it a grito in there, but that's not a hop. Then yeah. Did you stop Antonio? Like, don't do it.
No, I will just like, see you next time. You know, thank you everyone. If you have any questions, you could reach out to us, our team, because we're there for you. Thank you for joining us on this #virtual art walk. And if you want to be part of it, #McAllen in 60 for the future. We'll be talking to you about the 20th. Guys, help us out. Bye.
You're like a circle that floats around me, keeping me safe and sound. And when I fall